Story time, story time. Gather around, children, gather around for the stories. You know, that was how our ancestors passed on the knowledge, was through stories. Now everybody's nowadays everybody running down money, and they don't have any time to tell the children stories. They don't have any time to tell the children stories of how and pass on the knowledge. Now I love telling stories. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of stories because I had such a colorful, dramatic childhood that I can tell stories. And I don't mind telling my stories about my life because I have nothing to hide. No, I have some stories. I have a story, and it's going to tie into more than one, but there are lessons to be learned from it. No, when I was growing up, my mother would give me a lot of dollies. I didn't like the dollies. Chuck them to the side, and my sister would play with them. We get roll up blades, Nintendo games, all those type of games. You name it, we got it. Trust and believe. She was one that gave us a lot of toys. But I didn't like the toys. However, my mother brothers, who are Masons as well, they used to give my brother and myself puzzles. I like dominoes. I used to get dominoes. The doctor one, he used to go to Cuba and would bring home these dominoes, toys and so forth, dominoes, and I play with those. And my other uncle, the other one that was in the army, he would bring home like these type of he brought them home from Russia. He had these, like, it's a helicopter where you have to glue the pieces together, and then that's how you basically make your own toys. So you would glue them together and then become a helicopter or a car or an any or to make a soldier man, but you have to glue them, you have to make them. My brother didn't like them because it's like he was like pissed off because he didn't come ready make. He didn't come ready make them put the bother with it, so he would throw them down. And so I used to take them. I used to like those toys because I would sit quietly and make them. When I make them now, my brother will get them to play with. He likes them when them already make already. Because him not have time to sit down, but him loving bicycle and everything. I didn't like the bicycle, so not nah, not into that. But I like to sit quietly and make the toys. And when I made them, my brother would get them to play with. And I had fun just watching his face light up, and he would take them from me and he go play with them. He preferred ready make. He liked the toys ready make, but I like to sit and make them. No, when I was growing up, I was a child that is, because I'm a middle child, I was often overlooked. But I know now why. I'm going to piece it together and show you. Because they've been trying to sacrifice me since I was a child. Because remember, by the time I was born, my mother was already into the Freemason, into the secret society. So she and her brothers were already into it. And imagine having a child that you're trying to sacrifice since birth, and the child is here. And being that they're members of the secret society, they're going to look into the child life to see who that child is. They know when a special child come in. And if you are trying to kill somebody for so long, after a while you become intrigued, or you just like, that child has someone bold opinion who this kid is. No. Going back to the puzzles. Now, being that I was the one that sit and make these puzzle toys, it developed my analytical mind. It developed my mind. And it made me, because I was a child that didn't speak much, I was a very observant child. Very observant. And because I was a middle child, I'm often overlooked. But I take note of everybody because I have a way of sitting quiet and just observe. And for some reason, My mother liking my sister more, or my uncles preferring my brother. For some reason, it didn't bother me. I don't know why. It didn't bother me because I just think I'm someone who creates my own stories and will tell myself my own stories and just play with myself. I don't know why. I just have fun being by myself as a child growing up. But it later propelled me and prepared me for now, where I'm in solitude and it doesn't bother me. I can stay to myself. It doesn't bother me. I love being by myself. I love it. No, because I have an analytical mind, because I played with the puzzles, I pieced them together and solved the issues. It developed my mind so much. And my mother used to tell me that she don't know, but she said there's something super special about me. And I know now because of course she tried, but it didn't work. But it's not only that, she always says that I'm her best and worst child. No, I am of the fact that, let me tell you something, I have a very good mind and I can see because I'm a gifted child and I know who I am spiritually. I know I'm a divine being and I know exactly who I am. Like I said, I know I am Sekhmet. I know who I am. I know I'm a returned goddess. And I always knew that as a child growing up. Now, my mother used to be terrified of my mind, terrified, because I would just sit quietly and I can just see what she went through. And then when she passed in, I would just say to her that this and this happened to her, and she would just freak out. She would freak out because I could just see everything. Now, there's a story of when I was a baby and I had a bassinet, this bassinet, and she took me over my father's house. I was a baby. Me, I thought not even 6 months. And she and my father had an argument, and she took me across the road to my father's house, left me there, and rain fell, and it came down in the bassinet, and it covered me up. It covered me up. And by the time my father came back, the water was over me, so he pulled me up. He pulled me up out of the, like, lift me up. And when he lift me up, I just opened my eyes and I was breathing. And and let me tell you something, even my father was frightened. And then when I told my mother the story years later, because I was like a baby, she was like, but you're a baby. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna tell her the story. Yo, she frightened you, fuck, I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna say when I was a baby, I can't be more than 3 months old. You had an argument with my dad and left me in the bassinet under the zinc, like you put me up underneath it, and the water came down and covered me over. And when my eyes were covered, my father come and thinks I'm dead. And when him lift me up, him say my eyes them open, and I was there looking at him. And then I started to cry, and he hugged me. And I told her the story. I remember I told her that my father died when I was 1 year and 10 months old exactly. And I could tell her the story years later. I could tell my mother the story, and I could tell her other things that they did to me as a child. And she would freak out. She would freak out because they thought that because it happened to me as a child, as a baby, that I wouldn't have no recollection of it. And up until this day, I know that story. So I can see the story and know the story so clear. That's the beauty. Because let me tell you something. When you're truly chosen, there's nothing they can do to you. And let me tell you something. When I had children, when I started having my children, I didn't buy them certain toys. I bought my kids puzzles. I bought both my children puzzles, and I have a son and a daughter. And I bought them puzzles to develop their mind. And I'm someone that if I show my child something and they don't listen to me, Like if I tell them something about that person, I let them experience it. And when they experience it, let me tell you something, they will despise that person. Now my sister, Carissa, Trishana Peter Gay Haynes, you bitch. You have been trying for years to turn my son mine against me. You and my mother did that. And Michelle too. That is my granny across the road. My paternal grandmother, her niece too. All of them have tried in every way. These are people. Let me tell you something. I cannot, for the sakes, understand why church people love to take set from people so much. I cannot even understand these people who goes to church love to take set and siphon children's energy so much. Why? I say, you know, them Masonic. No, my paternal granny have a niece, Michelle. She do everything in her power to try to see if she can turn my son against me. And instead, he found her out because guess what she tried for the look my son. My son turned her down. No. And I told my son that these people are sick. These fucking people have the same mannerism as those of the people in the Bible, them character. Because if you look at these fictional characters in the Bible, all of them love pitney, them love war, them bad mind, them grudgeful, them have all type of dirty ways. And the people who are in the church, they adopt these dirty characteristics of the same Bible characters that they worship. No, these people are preaching. This cousin of mine, she preach, she tell she a prophet and them something like that, and that should turn around and do. Try to look my son and my son tell me. Now my sister, she recently tried to get my son to join the secret society to see if she can get him for sacrifice me. Because let me tell you something, when you're truly chosen and you are of a divine light, you will have gifted children as well. And what these fuckers have tried to do over the years is try to see if they can always try to turn my children against me or try to get them to join the fuckery, and my children turn again on them and despise them. No, my son, I used to give him puzzles. My daughter too. So my children develop a strong mind like their mother. And let me tell you something. Your children are an extension of you, and that's something I knew long ago. Because even me, I do look like my mother. Now, if I hated my mother, I would hate it myself because guess what? Now I look like her. But like I said, I love her regardless of what she do. I love her. But she have to face her judgment. When she was dying, she held on to my hand. She held on to my hand and that woman begged me for forgiveness. She apologized immensely upon her deathbed. You know, I'm going to come back to my son, but I'm going to go back a little bit to my mother. No, like I said, she used to say I'm her best and worst, her best and worst child. Because no matter what she did, I still showed love to her. But I'm also someone that, like I said, I have a dark side. And if you keep on doing the same thing to me, there's a time when I'm going to pull my energy and I will leave you to fall in your own destruction. I will leave you to fall in your destruction. And that's what I did to her. I just pull my energy complete because if I'm there showing love to you and you same one talk smack on me, talk down to me, speak bad and spread lies, because this is what these people in the secret society, I know it's their tactics. If you talk to other people who are chosen and their family in the secret societies, for some reason the chosen one, them always have family members and them secret society. Yeah. I try for sacrifice them. And they would tell you the same thing. These people go out and speak smack about them and spread false rumors about them. So when you would try for like say no or for tell somebody said this is what they're doing to you, people would not believe because they already tell all type of lies on you. It's a good thing you know who you are, because these people are very good at spreading propaganda on people. And when by the time people meet you, they say, oh, your mother tell me this or your sister tell me this or this or that. In time, they're not go so. But they have to break them, have to do everything for try to tear down your character so they can look good. And so that people don't recognize what they are doing. And that's the same thing my mother did to me. And I recognized it long ago. And you know what I did? I pulled my energy completely away from her. And when I pulled my energy completely away from her, she fall. And not only did she fall, she died. No, when she was on her deathbed, she cried immensely, immensely, immensely. And her mother, her maternal mother, her mother, and my aunt, they dream me and tell me that to look, your mother want to go, but she can't go because she's under. It's like she have a burden, so she have to release the burden. And so one Saturday I went up to her. It was a Saturday before she died. I went to her, and when I went to her, the nurses was like, I was in the middle of night, like about 9, 10 o'clock. I was going to my bed, and a spirit said, no, go and look for your mother. I'm just going to look for her. When I went to there, they said the visiting time had passed. And I went and I looked for her. When I was approaching her bed space at KPH, I could hear her calling, Kadeen, Kadeen, Kadeen. Remember the woman they're calling my name out from a long time. And when I went there, I tell the nurses my name and tell them that is her daughter, my daughter. They said, you know, long she a calling him, you she a call. Hey, you see, when I approach her bed space, it's like, mom, when I said, mommy, and she hear my voice, is when somebody tired, she just started to, she tired. She said, Kadim, I'm tired. I'm saying, well, I'm tired. And I know she liked food, so I brought her some food. And I brought her some food. I put it in my clothes and brought it to her. And she said, whoa. And I gave her the food. And she said, whoa, I long for this. I long for your food. Because my food was healing for my mother. And when she was here, I just started to pull my energy from her, even to the point that I would not cook and give her. Because when I cook and give her, she complains that the food have vegetable and this. And I said, this is what you're supposed to be eating. She started complaining about the food. So I pulled my energy. And when I pulled my energy from her, including stop giving her the food, she just deteriorated. Because she was siphoning my energy and using my energy to curse me. And so when I went to the hospital, I took her some of my food. And I gave her the food, and she was like, she was eating like she never eat before. And she eat it. I pulled the curtains, and she eat the food. Because she can't, she's not supposed to. She did not want her to eat the food, and I gave her the food. She said, Kadima, I starve. I'm going to give her the food. And when I gave her the food, all she did was, Kadima, sorry. And she was just like, she tired and she burdened down. And she just eat the food. She ate the food, she ate the food, she ate the food. And she was telling me, thank you. And she said she's sorry for everything which she ever did to me. And I said, I forgive you a long time ago. I forgive you a long time ago. I said, eat the food. And she was telling me that she needed to speak to my son and she needed to speak to my daughter to tell them that she's sorry. Now, this woman, to me, in front of my eyes, to other people, she showed my son like she's spoiling, but I knew she was doing things to my son. And she acted as if she loved my son out of this world. But I knew that she was breaking him down, and she did everything to try to part me and my son. And she tried with my daughter, but my daughter not like her, none at all. Because my daughter find her, I don't know, my daughter can just pick up everything from Charlie Pickney. I couldn't tell my daughter nothing about me. But because I had my son and I would share my son with her, she had a hold on my son in terms of like his mental space. She really loved her. Same with my sister. because I shared my son with them, but I didn't share my daughter with them. And in sharing my son with them, it cost me. Let me tell you something. If somebody hated them, hated people, to not care how them go and let them love you, they will them despise the people because their children are a extension of you, and they know your child is gifted as well. And my sister, my mother did everything to try to sacrifice my son, and they didn't know that I knew about it. But when I tell my son about it, he would like, him think the world of them. But guess what? Guess what? He's going to experience them on his own. Yeah, I allowed him to experience them on his own. And when it come time for this bitch now, remember I give my son a lot of puzzles, so he has a very analytical mind. How long they think they was going to cipher my son's energy for? How long these motherfuckers think they were going to think they could turn my son against me? To tell my son that I was strict and tell him that, oh, your mother is a witch. Let me tell you about my son. You know, I love both my children. And whoever the Orisha parents for my children are, that's the same energy I notice I have over my children. I am very protective of my children. And I guard my children. I guard them. And there's no way you, Kerry, could think that you could let my child join any secret society to sacrifice me. Because in healing my traumas and healing myself, I healed my bloodline. And so I healed my son through me. Through healing my traumas, I heal my son. So there's no way you could have get my son to join any secret society, because I already broke that curse. Because that curse broke with me when I didn't join the secret society. Like you and like Janet, I broke that curse. Nah. And so when you came to my son to try to sacrifice, to tell him to join the secret society, it was then that he found you out now. And now he has turned against you, because he has a mind of his own. And I am the one that gave birth to him. And just as I loved Janet, no matter how she tried to sacrifice me. Just imagine my son that I protect and love so much, and I protect and love my child. I'm not try to sacrifice my pitney and do crap to him. I show him love and show him who he is. And when him don't hear and leave, he make him experience enough of him own. But he's a protected child. You try to siphon my son energy and his light, because you knew that he's a divine being because he came from me. But your curse has been broken, and he found you out. And now, bitch, he is looking at you with scorn, because they could get my son to join the fuckery we're only into. Because his love and his connection to my womb space is very strong. And no matter what my son, no matter what, anything anybody do, my son tells me back. My children are like that. Because let me tell you something, I'm a different type of mother. You see, when me I go on party, and me not nobody to look after them, me put on clothes for my pitney and carry them go to the party with me, because me not left them by themselves. So from them a little pitney, if a carnival, them come with their mother. If I dance, them and their mama go. I'm that type of mother. Up until now, me and my daughter go party together. Up until now, me and my daughter, she not living at the house right now, you know. And me and her go party same way. Because nobody can break the bond that me and my kids them have. But just leave them, make them find out people for themselves. But I stand protecting, and I stay protecting my children, no matter what. And every time my children speak to me, they tell me everything. My children keeps no secret from me, because they cannot break the bond that they have to me. And that's something that you couldn't break. None of you can break it. You are your secret society friend, them can't break the bond where my children have towards me. I'll allow my children to experience life and the world on their own and let them find people out. But I stay protecting them, and my ancestors stay protecting. My spiritual protection extends out to my children as well. So no matter how you think so you could have sacrifice him and sacrifice my daughter and do all type of shit, they stay spiritually protected as well. So nobody get to do my picnic them shit because I am their mother and I protect my own. What my mother never did for me, I do for my own because I correct the mistakes of my mother through me. Now, when a generation, in order to learn and develop, you must protect, you must heal, and correct the mistakes of your parent to improve that generation. And that's what I did. I corrected the mistakes of my mother through me and heal my bloodline so my children become the healed version of me. And in healing myself, I healed my direct bloodline. So fuck off, bitch, because you're under judgment, you dirty Kerry. And I know you're an evil bitch because I showed you love and I share my son with you. And instead you turn around and try for turning around for siphon my fucking son energy and thinks that you could have taken my son away from me. Bitch, my son belongs to me. It's my child. My child. My belly pain. And when I said no weapon form against me, it extend out to my children as well. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. You're under judgment, you dirty bitch. There are certain things is unforgivable. How dare you go near to my son? How dare you? You want to try fuck with your pitney yet? Whatever you sow, you're going to reap it. Get the fuck away from me and get the fuck away from my child. Get the fuck away. Now you know you make a bad way now. Now he has nothing to do with you, bitch.